Welcome back to Fulgur Channel. And today, we're diving deep into the turbulent waters of international relations. The South China Sea, a region fraught with tension, is witnessing a bold move from the United States, Japan, and the Philippines. Buckle up as we unfold the latest chapter in this geopolitical saga. As territorial disputes intensify in the South China Sea, major players are making strategic moves to counter China's expansive claims. The United States, long committed to maintaining freedom of navigation, is joining forces with Japan and the Philippines to challenge Beijing's influence in the region. The Philippines is in talks to possibly include Australia and Japan in planned joint South China Sea patrols with the United States, a senior diplomat said on Monday, in another sign of concern over Beijing's activities in the strategic waters. Meetings have already been set, and probably we may have the Japanese and the Australians join in. Philippine ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Rumolds, told Reuters. They would like to join in for joint patrols to make sure that there's the code of conduct and there's freedom of navigation, adding it was still an idea under discussion. If the plan materializes, it will be the first time the Philippines has joined multilateral maritime patrols in the South China Sea, a move that would likely anger Beijing, which claims most of the sea as its territory. The foreign ministries of Australia and Japan, and the embassies of the US and China in Manila, did not immediately respond to separate requests for comment. The patrol talks and renewed engagement with the U.S. underscore how much Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has realigned his country with its history, moving away from predecessor Rodrigo Duterte's hostile approach to Washington, while still pursuing close economic engagement with regional powerhouse China. Australia and the U.S. have separately been discussing joint patrols with the Philippines, amid concerns about China's assertiveness in the South China Sea, through which about $3.4 trillion of commerce passes each year. The US, Japan, and Australia have been conducting trilateral naval exercises, and joint patrols with those countries would be good for the Philippines and for the entire area, Rumolds said, adding, "We want to have freedom of navigation." 3 tiers of countries, with Australia, Japan, and the United States among them, are likely to join in the Philippines' fight with China over South China Sea skirmishes and confrontations, according to one analyst. On Wednesday, the Philippines Defense Secretary said that Manila will boost multilateral activities, including freedom of navigation patrols in the disputed region. Gilberto Teodoro also expressed hope that more countries would join our fight after the Philippines and China earlier this week accused each other of raising tensions in the disputed waterway. Manila said China's Coast Guard intentionally collided with its boats during a resupply mission to a small contingent of troops stationed on a rusty ship, purposely grounded in 1999 in the Philippines' 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. China, which said the Philippine boats bumped dangerously into its Coast Guard vessels, claims sovereignty over almost the entire South China Sea, despite an international arbitration award declaring that such a claim has no legal basis. The recent incident with China could result in more willing nations to join our fight, Teodoro said, without elaborating. Joshua Bernard Espina, a resident fellow at the International Development and Security Cooperation think tank in Manila, said the defense secretary was likely referring to 3 tiers of willing countries. The first, he said, comprises Australia, Japan, and the US, countries which are the most committed to the move as they were the direct recipients of China's assertive military and economic moves. Logistics-wise, they need to identify gaps where they can complement each other for optimum naval combat conditions, Espina said. The second tier involves the European Union and Britain, countries that have recognized China as a systemic threat in terms of liberal values, and while they will do what they can, they may not be able to mount firepower due to their distance from the region. If you cannot move and supply, you cannot fight. Espina said, adding that these nations must consider the swift conclusion of reciprocal access agreements sharing access to bases and ports, and more intelligent sharing. The third tier is made up of South Korea and New Zealand. It is only a matter of time for South Korean elites to realize that China is an unreliable partner for regional peace. Espina said, while Seoul and Wellington are unlikely to join in current deterrent efforts, they might do so in case of an open shooting war, he added. However, John Bradford, executive director at the Yokosuka Council on Asia-Pacific Studies, said the fight, referred to by Teodoro, was mostly diplomatic. The Philippines is assembling a growing coalition of partners, but which would be ready to provide material support in a conflict remains an open question. Bradford added that Manila has been doing a masterful job of documenting Chinese behavior in the disputed waterway, using engaging images and videos of what is happening at sea as part of a public diplomacy campaign to strengthen support for its position. That position was already quite strong, having been built on the foundation of the 2016 arbitral ruling that found the Chinese claims to be baseless. Bradford said, referring to the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, which adjudicated Manila's case against China in the South China Sea. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the tensions escalating in the South China Sea. The geopolitical landscape is evolving rapidly, and we'll be here to keep you informed. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant.